Namaste. Today we are going to watch the best of Stephen Fry on religion. And this video took a long time to make. Not because it was long time after which we were shooting, but because the moment we started this video, we started to have a discussion on religion, and we are going back and forth on it. What is it about? How am I into religion, and how is she into religion? How she believes into spiritual things and all. Do let us know.
Okay. So, should we discuss the whole thing again in front of
Not
the camera?
the whole thing, but yes, parts of it. What are your thoughts about it?
So, I feel yes, there is a higher energy, and we have partial decision-making power, and there is something which controls us in some ways, not 100%, but yes, there is something which is there above us, and people have faith, and people are alive many a times because of this faith, because of this hope that things will get better in their lives, and there is someone who is looking after them, and he'll make sure that they get justice. So all these things, ultimately it's just letting us know, it's reminding ourselves that okay, things will be better, and whatever we are doing in our lives right now is for happiness ultimately. Right now we are shooting this video, and then it will go to a lot of people, and then these people will feel good, they'll feel better in some way, at least 0.5% or something. So that's the ultimate goal, whatever we are doing. So I feel I lost the point.
So everything that we are doing, it is because of us. So what I believe in is I don't believe in religions as such, and I have a completely different point of view. I don't feel like somebody is controlling us, because then we would be just mere puppets. And we would not need any brain of sort, because if somebody is controlling us, why would we need brain?
So we have partial decision making power, not 100%.
Oh, so that can be also the case. But
for example, we are shooting this right now. We have the control of shooting it, but then suddenly the light goes away, the electricity goes away.
So it is because of the electric company, not because of God.
It's not in our hand.
So it is because it is in somebody else's hand. Some other human is doing that. So even YouTube cannot earn by doing itself. So I am making the video. I will post that video, and millions of such people will post.
So you're trying to say we coexist?
Yeah, everybody is doing some or the other job for itself.
We do coexist, but let's start the video. Well, let's see what Mr. Stephen has to say about this, because I am excited about it, and I want to have a different perspective to life.
Yeah, and do let us know whose opinion do you agree to more, and we'll see what Stephen Fry says, because I've never heard of him before. So let's see what is there in this video.
Pearly gates, and you are confronted by God. What will Stephen Fry say to him or it?
I will basically, that is the Odyssey, I think. I'll say bone cancer in children. What's that about?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you create a world in which there is such misery that is not our fault? It's not right. It's utterly, utterly evil. Why should I respect a capricious, mean-minded, stupid God who creates a world which is so full of injustice and pain? That's what I'd say.
But
And you
people
think you're
are
going to get in
hurt.
on
No,
that?
but I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to get in on his terms. They're wrong. Now, if I died and it was Pluto, Hades, and if it was the 12 Greek gods, then I would have more truck with it, because the Greeks they didn't pretend not to be human in their appetites and in their capriciousness and in their unreasonableness. They didn't present themselves as being all-seeing, all-wise, all-kind, all-beneficent. Because the God who created this universe, if it was created by God, is quite clearly a maniac. How can this creator, who is apparently benign, cause the one I chose was bone cancer in children? Even if you believe, conveniently now that Darwin has existed, that God sort of wound up the clock and started evolution, you can say, well, if he knew everything and could do everything, why would he allow such monstrous cruelty? And that's all the only point I was making. I was astonished that it has caused so viral an explosion on Twitter and elsewhere. And very grateful to the Archbishop of Canterbury, who apparently said the other day that I had every right to say what I said, and I should hope I do. And I'm most pleased, I think, that it's got people talking. Utter maniac. Totally selfish. We have to spend our life on our knees thanking him? What kind of God would do that? Yes, the world is very splendid, but it also has in it insects whose whole life cycle is to burrow into the eyes of children and make them blind. They eat outwards from the eyes. Why? Why did you do that to us? You could easily have made
See that guy's
a creation which
reaction?
didn't exist. It is simply not acceptable. So, atheism is not just about not believing there's a God, but on the assumption that there is one. What kind of God is he? It's perfectly apparent that he is monstrous, utterly monstrous, and deserves no respect whatsoever. The moment you banish him, your life becomes simpler, purer, cleaner, more worth living, in my opinion.
Loving God who has knowledge of every hair on our head and adores us and adores little kittens, but he also, as I say, bone cancer in children, but also life cycles of insects whose whole aim is to burrow into the eyes of children in Africa and lay their eggs there and cause blindness for those children. I mean, you could quite easily picture a universe in which there weren't such an animal.
Are you a believer in an afterlife? Does that
Your question.
Which is to say, I'm along with Plato and the Greeks, anyone who tells you that they know what happens to you after you die is either a liar or a fool.
Yeah, I must say it does seem to be a bit of guesswork going on. If you ask me.
Absolutely. I mean, the number of people who've said, honey, when I'm dead, I'll come back and visit you. And they happen not to.
This has happened to you personally, or just right?
But so people said to me, I saw a ghost, and I go, no, you didn't, dear.
Yeah. I wonder. Are you? I mean, it does seem to. Are you an atheist?
I suppose I am. I take my cue from the great philosopher Bertrand Russell, who
I love Bertrand Russell.
He's wonderful. I
Yes.
advise anybody just to have a fun time on
His
YouTube.
autobiography?
Isn't it extraordinary?
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's very, very funny.
Yeah.
And he spoke in this beautiful, high, piping, extremely aristocratic voice.
Yes.
He was Earl Russell, in fact. And he came from a very distinguished family. His aunt danced with Napoleon, and he knew Robert Browning, and I met a man who knew him, which makes that connection
That's
really
very
weird.
nice, yeah.
But he was asked why he was an atheist, and so surely you mean agnostic, because you don't know there isn't a God.
Right.
He said, no, I don't know there isn't a God. That's quite true. He said, but I also don't know that there isn't a giant teapot orbiting Venus in such an angle and way that we will never see it. However, I am perfectly entitled to base my life on the supposition that such a teapot does not exist, and not to allow my life to be determined by those who do believe in such a teapot. And that is my view about God.
If Victorians were as shocked as we think of them as being by Darwin, and actually there's some historical evidence that they weren't quite as shocked as we think they were, it wasn't by the fact that we may have descended from apes or be-apes, it was that it presented a natural world which was so callous and unfeeling, and that we were the result of a simple, what we would now call algorithmic series of rules, not a design, and there was no purpose to our life except the shallow purpose of reproduction, as it were.
Well, indeed, there's no purpose judged by the laws of nature. Of course, once human brains come into existence, humans have purposes, but it's a mistake to project our purposes onto the laws of the cosmos. Yes. So that's an example of a scientific insight that has tremendous relevance for moral reasoning, including the fact that if we care about our well-being, we can't look to the cosmos to take care of us. That it's really up to us. Yeah.
We can test empirically if prayers are answered, after all.
And then the results are in.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers, nil.
No, that's right.
Just saying, if there is a loving God, how come children get bone cancer?
So that main
Absolutely.
point that he highlights in
That's-
every
I
interview.
think he has gone through something.
It's not a game. I'm not trying to be
Someone
funny.
in his family or
It's just,
something.
how can you begin to say there is a loving God and give children bone cancer? So they howl and scream in agony and die. Or because I want them in heaven. That's a ridiculous nonsense. That can't be true. It just can't be true. So there is a lot of thinking to be done. And I'm not undermining the thinking that serious theologians do, and the branch of scholarship that they embark on to try and justify pain and evil in the world. And so I made the mistake in the modern world, if you like, of saying what I thought. And one of the biggest errors that you can commit in our times is to be honest, is asked a question.
More on that in a minute, because honesty can get you into trouble across a range of things.
Especially, oddly enough, it gets you into trouble with moral, religious people.
Well, it did on Twitter, didn't it? There was a viral explosion on Twitter.
Oh, it's mostly favourable by a huge amount. It was favourable because I think That's an obvious question. It's the simplest question we all ask about religion. There's the obvious prime one, which is what's actually known as the prime mover argument in religion, which is if there's a universe, who made it? Someone must have be a first cause. And then any child can say, well, then if it's God, who made God? And so on. These are simple questions, but they're beautiful. Like all the best questions in intellectual life, physics and other things, they're very, very simple. And an extremely simple one, if you're told God loves you and loves the world and loves everybody, is why does he cause such a appalling, or allow such appalling pain? And there were 6th century BC philosophers who said if God doesn't allow it, then he isn't all-powerful. If it just happens without his permission, then he's not all-powerful.
It's perhaps unfair of me as a gay man to moan that this enormous institution, which is the largest and most powerful church on earth, has over 1 billion, as they like to tell us, members, each one of whom is under strict instructions to believe the dogmas of the church, but may wrestle with them personally, of course. It's a little hard for me to know that I am disordered, or again, to quote Ratzinger, that I am guilty of a moral evil, simply by fulfilling my sexual destiny as I see it.
Yeah, being gay
it's hard
is
for
a
me
crime
to
according to Christianity and
that I'm evil,
even Islam also.
because I think of myself as someone who is filled with love, whose only purpose in life was to achieve love, and who feels love for so much of nature and the world and for everything else, and who, like anybody decent and of an education, realizes that in order to achieve and receive love, it's a struggle. It's not one that needs a pope to tell you how to do it. It certainly isn't one who needs a pope to tell you that you're evil. With 6% of all teenage suicides being gay teenage suicides, we certainly don't need the stigmatization, the victimization that leads to the playground bullying when people say you're a disordered, morally evil individual. That's not nice. It isn't nice.
No, it's not.
So the part wherein someone asked him whether he believes in afterlife or not, or lives again, life after life. Again, we were discussing before starting this video, and I suggested him to read this book. If you guys have read it, please let us know in the comments, and please tell me what is right, what is not, because let us know what is your perspective, because the book shows a journey of a person who does not believe in multiple lives, and then he goes through this past regressions. He's a psychologist, and he lets the other person, the patient, go through this past life regression, and then he comes to know that he comes to this conclusion that there is past life, there is future life, there is present life. What do you think about it?
So even she has recommended me also this book. So even I'll read it, and you guys also read it. And if you have read it, do let us know in the comment section, because yes, it was very highly rated on Amazon, and a lot of people have bought that book. So I think so many of you might have read it. And also like I relate to a lot of him, and I think so this is the first video where I can say like I have seen Divya being completely shut. Like in all the other videos, she continuously tries to say some or the other thing, but in this video, she was like, I want to say something. What? Like, okay, I have to hear also what he's saying, because the point he was making was really right. Like, if there is a God, why is he giving bone cancer to children? Like children, and we see all. So
for that, kids. I think I know. I'm not sure, but I've read it again somewhere. That again, what he says is that there's a better place, and this place is not ours. This is not where we belong to. And this place is manufactured in such a way that it is going to have a lot of difficulties, and the scriptures suggest that if you want to get rid of the difficulties, you need to move out to a better place where he is there, where the higher energy is there, and he'll take care of everything.
So this is an experiment ground.
No, this is where we've come. We've fought with the higher energy, we fought with whatever you call it, and we've come here.
So we are the worst ones, kind of.
No, we're not worst. We are just those kids who do not listen to the parents so much. This is what I've read. Okay, don't kill me in the comments.
So but I was born normal, but that there is someone kid that is not born normal.
So because again,
he might have done something even wrong.
Yeah, so his karma, as you call it, won't be that. So he might not have that good of past, like how you have jailers. How you have jailers, you know, they get the punishment according to what they've done. The worse the thing that they've done, the worse the punishment.
So now the thing is, like, we are comparing everything that humans do that to God. So, but God should have his own things. No, why are, like, we can compare our things to God? So it is so similar to us only.
So I think we are going to keep debating on this topic. There is no end to it.
Do let us know what are your feelings about it in the comment section below. So do like, share and
subscribe.
Bye.